It's been a long time since I've seen a big controversy about sex in video games. But now, after many years, we have a new one. There's a big game coming out in a few weeks called Baldur's Gate 3, and in this game, you can have gay sex with a grizzly bear. The story behind it is that there's a guy you can turn into a bear. He sometimes accidentally turns into a bear when he gets excited, and you have the option of saying, well, actually, I like bears. And then you're treated to a nice wholesome scene of gay bear sex. This scene was shown in an early live stream of the game and got the stream banned on TikTok. There's been a bit of media buzz about it, and a lot of people simply saying, what the fuck?
I was shocked that this is a scene in a video game. You get to fuck a bear. Like an actual bear.
Since the stream, the game's pre-order sales have skyrocketed. The developers have defended the scene, calling it artistic and hilarious, with the lead writer saying, "Have you ever considered the joys and pleasures of sexual congress with a wild-shaped druid? Because at Larian we have, and ultimately landed on the side of giving the people what they want. Tender, consensual romance with the man temporarily transformed into a grizzly bear." Now, one of the first questions I had about this, other than why the fuck is there a guy having sex with a grizzly bear, was whether it's even anatomically possible to have sex with a grizzly bear. So I did a bit of research, and it looks like it might be. It turns out that unlike humans, bears have a literal bone in their dick called a baculum, and by measuring the length of their dick bone, you can tell how big their dick is. I found a website that sells scale replicas of grizzly bear dick bones, and they clock in at 6.7 inches. So, it looks like you can. I also looked at some research from the University of Barcelona where they measured the dick bones from different species of bear, and it looks like you could actually fuck most bears, except panda bears because their dicks are less than an inch long. So the pandas are safe at least. The more you know. In terms of why the developers would put this in or why anybody would want to see this, I think the main source of appeal is just shock value. Oh my god, there's a video game where you fuck a bear. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Hey, let's see. It's like those old shock videos on the internet back in the day, you know, your friend starts telling you about Two Girls, One Cup. Oh my god, it was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I almost threw up. Don't watch it. And it's like, well, now I have to watch it. I mean, come on. And you can see that morbid fascination during the stream. The developers were letting the audience pick the dialogue options, and they could have chosen the don't fuck the bear option, but nope, they wanted to see a guy fuck a bear.
So we're all about choice and consequence, Larian.
I think they want to leave.
Okay.
I see a lot of twos. And one, for sure.
It's one. Don't apologize. I like it.
You like it?
Yep. It's interesting to look back on how these controversies have evolved over the years. I remember back in 2005 when people discovered a deleted sex minigame in Grand Theft Auto, and both the media and politicians lost their shit, giving us a rather insightful look into American Puritanism. You know, because stealing cars is apparently fine, shooting people is fine, beating hookers to death with a baseball bat is fine, but my god, a man and a woman having sex, now that is a bridge too far, sir. Or in 2007, when Mass Effect came out and there was a romance scene where you could see part of a blue alien girl's boob and Fox News freaked out about it. They had some feminist chick who had, of course, never played the game, saying it would turn teenage boys into misogynists, and it was like, well, it's part of a romance story, you can choose not to pick the dialogue option that leads to that, and if you don't want your kids to see it, don't let them play the game. So, if we go back in time only 15 years, even having normal sex in video games was controversial. But then people got used to it, it wasn't a big deal anymore, and you could no longer drive sales by pushing the envelope with normal sex without getting into pornographic territory and getting the dreaded adults-only rating, which cripples sales. But then in 2012, Mass Effect 3 came out, and there was a gay sex scene in it. And of course, that was controversial. People were like, hey, I don't want gay sex in my video game. And the progressive response was that some people are gay, some people would like to see their lifestyle reflected in a video game, and if you don't want to see the gay sex scene, then all you have to do is not press the gay sex button. Simple, right? On the other hand, there were conservatives making the usual slippery slope arguments. Hey, if you can put a gay sex scene in a video game, what's next? Bestiality? Oh no, that's silly, that will never happen. Well, now we have a video game where you can fuck a bear. But you know, it's artistic, it's a joke, and it's totally not bestiality because it's a human who turned into a bear and not a bear. Kind of like how it's totally not pedophilia to want to have sex with a 2,000-year-old demigod who just so happens to inhabit the body of a 6-year-old, which is how the Japanese porn industry gets around that issue. Yeah, it is certainly harder to push the envelope these days. In the far-off before time of 20 years ago, the only socially acceptable kind of sex was normal heterosex, but in these past 20 years, we've broken past a good number of sexual frontiers. Now it's acceptable to be gay and have gay sex. It's acceptable to be polyamorous and do whatever they do. And it's acceptable to be transgender and have transgender sex, to the point where there are people who will literally call you transphobic for not wanting to bang someone whose anatomy doesn't line up with your sexual orientation. So I've spent the past few years wondering what the next great frontier will be for that glorious engine of progressive taboo breaking. Because you know there's going to be one, and we don't really have any big ones left anymore. So maybe it's fucking bears. Or maybe it's not. I don't know, man. One thing I do know is that Baldur's Gate 3 has gotten a lot of press and sales out of this, so other video game companies might follow suit, and maybe we'll have more gay bear sex in other video games too. Sound like your idea of a good time? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Yogi Bear is dead. Yogi Bear is dead. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Yogi Bear is dead. Yogi Bear is dead. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Boo Boo shot him in the head. Ranger Rick stood on a hill. Ranger Rick stood on a hill. Ranger Ricky saw the kill. Ranger Ricky saw the kill. Now the Ranger's on the run. Now the Ranger's on the run. Cause the little one, cause the little one's got a gun.